Welcome to another Battle of the Ports, and a game that has been requested countless times over the years. This is The Lion King, developed by Westwood Studios in 1994. As you've no doubt gathered, Lion King is a platform game based upon Disney's 1994 animated feature film, The Lion King, that follows Simba's journey from a young cub to the battle with his uncle Scar as an adult. Being a side-scrolling platform developed in the West in the 90s, you can expect all manner of annoying gameplay twerks, such as falling through platforms, poor collision detection, blind jumps, shitty maze-like level design, and unresponsive controls. But on the plus side, the game does have some really good audio, and can also look quite nice in certain areas. Throughout the game you collect various types of bugs. Some bugs restore Simba's health and roar meters. Other more rare bugs can increase these meters for the remainder of the game. And black spiders reduce Simba's health. Finding certain bugs hidden in certain levels, the player can enter bonus levels as Timon and Pumbaa to earn extra lives and continues. In Pumbaa's stage, he collects fallen bugs and items until one either hits the bottom of the screen or he hits a bad bug. And in Timon's stage, he hunts for bugs with a time limit while avoiding spiders. In 2021, The Lion King was released again on physical media, probably to grab some cash from people's nostalgia. It certainly wasn't because this is a great game that had to be re-released.
It starts.
The Mega Drive version is next, and it's a version I've never played before, as I always expected it to be worse than the SNES version, simply because it looked rough in comparison, but man, was I wrong. The Mega Drive game, while looking a little rough due to less colours being used, is a much better playing game. The controls are snappy, the collision detection is better, and the animation when clipping onto rocks is way better. On the SNES it looks rather janky, as Simba just kind of clips onto a rock, kinda like how a magnet attaches itself to metal from a distance. There's none of that on the Mega Drive. Something else that impressed me on the Mega Drive is the audio. Some of the tunes are really well done, and the speech is just as good if not better than the SNES version. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is a great game, but it is the better of the two 16-bit console versions. The Amiga AGA version is next, and it's best described as an unwanted love child between the Mega Drive and the SNES. Oh, those Amiga fanboys will be flaming the comments, but anyone with eyes can tell that this is the worst version so far. The audio is 100% taken from the SNES, while the graphics are 100% taken from the Mega Drive. It sounds like it would be a nice combination, but sadly the game runs at an irregular frame rate, has massive hitboxes that cause you to get hit even though you can clearly see you're nowhere near the enemy, and it's missing levels, Can't Wait to Be King and Hakuna Matata. Plus the cutscenes. Add in the unresponsive controls and we have a dud game. Even back in the day, this only scored 67% in the February 1995 issue of Amiga format. Point Software ported the SNES version of Lion King to MS-DOS, adding enhanced music and sound effects. Or, that's what Wikipedia would have you believe. It's just the SNES audio, nothing more. As far as PC ports go of the time, it's average at best. I'm running this at recommended settings of the time, and as you can see, it's not a patch on the console versions. Let's move on to the 8-bit system, starting with the NES version, which was ported by Dark Technologies. Oh my god, this is like some knockoff Taiwanese bootleg. It's that bad. For the start, just look at how shit this looks. I mean, just look at it. The NES had better looking games on it in the first few months of release. It controls like crap too. The controls are ultra unresponsive, and even worse, you can't jump through scenery. The audio is also mostly poor, but that's okay because there's no way anyone would want to play this trash long enough to even care about the audio. Next up is the Master System port that was developed by Xerox Developments, who later became part of Climax Entertainment. This port is vastly different than the other versions in terms of map design. At times it can be far more frustrating than the original, as it's not always obvious as to where you need to go, or if you can attack something or not. The game also suffers from a very odd physics engine, giving Simba some strange physics when moving. The original game had this too, but on the Master System it can range from walking in thick mud to skating on ice. This leads to some pretty bad controls. But hey, at least it wipes the floor with the abysmal NES version. Like the Master System port, the Game Gear version was developed by Xerox Development, and we can clearly see where the Master System version came from. Yep, it was a direct port of the Game Gear. However, this Game Gear original looks better due to the higher color palette. And despite the stages being the same as the Master System, They work better on the Game Gear because you're not subjected to seeing the whole stage at once. Playability is also better on the Game Gear. It seems a little more snappy than the Master System version. It's still not great, but at least it's an improvement. Dark Technologies, who were behind the NES version, also handled this Game Boy release. And just like the Master System was based upon the Game Gear, it's obvious now that the NES version was just a piss-poor port of this piss-poor Game Boy version. This suffers from the exact same issues as the NES version. The controls are really bad. At times, you can't jump while moving. You're forced to press jump and a direction at the same time. This doesn't always happen though. It's random. You'd think crap like this would be fixed before releasing the game. Now let's take a look at all those versions of this overhyped game, Lion King, running side by side.